Hey guys, welcome. Today we are here to talk about the Presocratic philosophers. This is a brief introduction to Presocratic philosophers before directly jumping into their ideas. It helps to have some context. First, let's introduce who are they? Where did they come from? Why we call them the Presocratic philosophers? Who gave them this name? We will cover their identity and their origins in this video. This video will be an overview of these pre-Socratic philosophers, a kind of introductory video. The source of this video is the book The History of Philosophy by A.C. Grayling. Let's dive into it. Pre-Socratics were given this name by the aforementioned 19th century scholars, not because all of them predates Socrates, some were his contemporaries, but because the scholars recognized a major distinction of interest between them and Socrates, that is, about the nature and origins of the world. On the other hand, Socrates focused his attention majorly on ethics. Aristotle had a name for them too, physikoi. He described them as physicists. The first physikoi came not from Athens, but from Ionia, a flourishing group of cities founded by the Athenians on the eastern shores of the Aegean Sea. One of the cities, Miletus, was home of Thales, the first physikoi, famously known as the father of philosophy. While he was not the only thinker of his time, he is traditionally granted this title because thousands of years ago, before the 6th century BCE, no one had speculated about the nature and origins of the universe. Indeed, for several millennia before Thales even born, there were great civilizations flourishing in Mesopotamia and along the Nile, possessed of astronomy, architecture, bureaucracy, and writing, even organized economies. There are high chances that there must have been many citizens asking philosophical questions. But Thales is the first person known to ask about the nature of origin of the universe. Not only did he think, but he put forward ideas like these, which were more philosophical than religious and mythological. In any event, history gave him a pupil, Anaximander, who similarly had a pupil, Anaximenes. These three figures are bracketed together as first Ionian philosophers. These philosophers lived on the eastern margin of the Greek world. Afterward, the story continues from the western margin of Greek colonies of southern Italy. Pythagoras, he of the theorem about the square on the hypotenuse, came from Ionia originally, but sent himself to Croton, the city of Elea. Not far from Croton was the birthplace of the famous figure among early philosophers, Parmenides. He founded the school of the philosophy he gave himself and his school the name Eleatic under the name of his city. His principal followers are Zeno and Melissus. Contemporary with Zeno was Empedocles, from Acragas in Sicily. Parmenides is one of the greatest of Presocratics. The other is Heraclitus, born in Ionia. Parmenides was still alive when Socrates was born in 470 BCE in Athens. Athens saw, apart from Socrates himself, the flourishing of Protagoras, the Sophists, the Atomists, Leucippus, and Democritus, then Plato and Aristotle, later the school of Epicurus, the Cynics, and the Stoics. In the final century BCE, philosophy began to multiply again, including Rome and Alexandria, as increasingly important homes of debate and inquiry. The last great philosophical movement of antiquity, Neoplatonism, began with Plotinus in 3rd century CE and flourished until the 7th century CE. So, that was an overview of ancient philosophy and some glimpses of Presocratics. 1,000 years of stretching from the beginning with Thales in Ionia through Plato, Aristotle, Epicureanism, Stoicism. It had provided the outlook of many educated Hellenes and Romans until the advent of the Christian era. And finally, Neoplatonism. That's it for this video. We will look at all these great figures and all of these popular ideas in our following videos. We are making a playlist for all pre-Socratic philosophers. Stay tuned.